want to talk about option A, death, option B,
Okay.
play 20 questions.
Well, obviously 20 questions. Death is
Okay, great.
not a fun thing to talk about. Hey, we can have matching yellow.
Oh, look at us. Hey, look at us. Where's the purple beanie? Get a purple beanie.
Red pants.
Before
Too bad I
we
should
continue.
have done my purple pants. Oh well. 20 questions sounds fun. Do we have these questions listed somewhere, or are you just going to invent them?
Okay, so here's the thing that's been happening. If you follow Glass on Instagram, I don't know why, but you do, and I'm glad you're there. Thanks for coming. We've been using Instagram a little bit more recently. Why? Because you're there. Look at that. Easy question. Easy answer.
Nobody's on
Love
Instagram
that.
anymore. They're all on TikTok. And as we wade into this episode, I'm going to go ahead and pay this parking ticket I got. $30.
Would you believe that we're also on TikTok? I'm not engaging.
I suppose I believe it, but I haven't seen it because I have an account, but I don't think I even have the app on my phone anymore.
Yeah, it's the worst. Don't follow us on TikTok.
Yeah,
I'm not making content for you there. I'm making content for weirdos.
Can I tell you, and we don't need to elaborate on this much, but I started noticing in my first round of conferences back to, maybe we've talked about this already. I've talked about this with many friends, so it's kind of hard to remember. When I first started the many rounds of like conferences, when they came back after COVID, then I would say if I talked to 10 people, 9 of them brought up having essentially been self-diagnosed for some like medical condition, most commonly ADHD, through TikTok. And I think there was a huge campaign because of the COVID laws temporarily that were adjusted for people that weren't necessarily doctors or whatever. The restrictions were massively loosened for online diagnosis and subscription of things to be legal and okay. And I think a whole bunch of companies started overnight essentially to capitalize on that and just basically funneled tons of money into TikTok specifically to have people influence the audience there into thinking they may have it. And it's crazy because I continue to this day to like talk to friends that are like, I've been diagnosed with ADHD and older as an adult. And I don't think this should be a controversial thing to talk about, but let me know if you want to immediately pivot. I just find it kind of scary that almost everybody that I talk to says, yeah, actually, I first heard about it through TikTok. Like, whoa, that's so odd to me, because you asked me that 5 years ago, 7 years ago, if somebody was basically deciding to put themselves on a medication through Instagram or Facebook as these social media apps, I would be very like, that's weird. That doesn't seem.
Are we spreading medical misinformation right now? Did this happen? Is this a real thing, or did you read a tweet and now we're?
Oh no, this is all based.
Well, I know about the people learning. So a thing that I think you're confusing TikTok for here is a traditional social media app like Facebook that we associate it with, but it's TV with comments. Right, like it's being consumed like TV. It's being used like someone turning on their television. Like the people who are active TikTok users are watching it instead of watching television. Right, like
yeah, sure.
So the onboarding of the content.
I still find it very odd that the U.S. and New Zealand are the only two countries that legally can have ads for medication on television. I still think that's a concern.
Wrong. It's bad.
Yeah,
everything. Okay. I mean, like if we want to have a conversation about how the American healthcare system is,
no, definitely bullshit. Not. That's way out of my anything that I'm able to talk about. I'm just talking about how odd it is that the number of people that seem to be now, diagnosing or being exposed to the possibility of something like this through TikTok specifically. It's like, wow, that goes as nothing else is just evidence that is where everyone is, not necessarily on Instagram.
Well, did you see the
pay parking photo or minor moving? Oh, I'm parking. I'm listening. Sorry, citation.
Did you see the oh man. There was a study that came out. Teens are self-reporting that they feel way better about their parents.
No.
Like teens just are big into their parents at the moment. They're like, wow, yeah, y'all are trying, and that matters. Who could have guessed?
That sounds interesting. Wouldn't have guessed. That's cool.
So there's like an education thing happening, right? Where like all of like as information has become readily more available over the last 20 years, education has shifted into what we're learning and when we're learning it and how we're learning it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like someone being exposed to content that is about ADHD and having it figure out, oh yeah, here it is.
Sure.
Is like more likely now. One of the things that like I have a friend who her TikTok algorithm knew she was bi before she did.
Sure.
Like she hadn't realized it, and then was just like getting served a lot of bisexual content on TikTok that was all about, like understanding yourself as a bisexual woman and understand, like how to navigate this space, etc. And she's like, wow, this is all really helpful and interesting. Oh, it's because I like women. And it's like, yep, you did it. Congrats.
I have no doubt that makes a lot of sense to me. Knowledge being presented to more people is going to enable those people that otherwise would have been clueless about a condition that they might have, not that being biased condition, I'm talking more like ADHD, is something that needs to be treated and addressed. That's totally great. But it's just a concern to me that it's coming through, not initially at least, some, person-to-person social structure that should exist, I suppose.
You know what?
I mean, in a way, TikTok maybe is that, but it doesn't really feel like it to me. This is my favorite part.
I'm moving a little slow this morning, and so I would like to back up to where you said something about bisexuality not being a thing.
What?
Not it being a thing, but not being a problem that needs to be addressed.
Oh, okay.
Something like
I
that.
said it's not a condition. Yeah, I just didn't want it to come across as
that
like
needs to be addressed. Yeah. I know. This is not a negative bi thing. Sure. I would just like to address all of the bisexuals in the audience. You can address letters to me. Say hello to me. I would love to be friends. Every friend that I have that's bi is amazing. Bi people are the best. 3 cheers for the gays.
Oh, shall we get back to 20 questions? Or
okay. So, yeah. So our 20 questions here. So we've been using Instagram more. And so we've been posting a little bit of engagement bait. So we're just going to answer some engagement bait questions. You know?
That sounds great.
Yeah, right. This is our last episode of the year before.
That's news to me.
Well, I mean,
yeah, it's probably
next Monday is literally Christmas.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Monday after that
is
a
Santa
New Year's,
hat.
So.
Oh yeah, it is. Wow.
Yeah. So like, I don't know when you want to record again between now and Christmas, but I don't want to.
Okay, that's fine.
What are you doing for Christmas, Sam? Are you visiting your family? Are you heading down?
I have 2 shoots. I have one that's going to be quite interesting and very different in terms of what I've normally done. Somebody reached out. They had it's this Wednesday, and it's a portrait session. It's somebody who's kind of launching a brand for themselves, I suppose, but it's really meant as a way for them to get more speaking gigs. She inquired with me as Stacy, and then a couple of days ago on our phone call to talk about with Stacy and the makeup artist, she kind of elaborated on the story here, which is quite interesting. She's their brother died like 4 weeks ago, 30-year-old out of nowhere, and
so you do want to talk about death?
Oh wow, we just jumped into it. Yeah, we came back full circle here. But I don't want to elaborate too much other than to say it's going to be a documenting of Stacy's transformation into James through photography. The story of sort of a corporate, a life of almost 50 years, kind of corporate suit, and the whole bubble you're kind of trapped in there, kind of transforming into this James and kind of a new life. And anyway, the vision was pretty compelling. All the sort of Pinterest and other kind of visuals they had for me, and it's just going to be fascinating for me. The first thing I realized right out of the gate was I've never worked in a shoot in a session with, first of all, something so like personally tied to the person I'm photographing. Like it's not just a headshot for like Instagram or something or LinkedIn. It's really like a collection of photos to document like this, a bit of a story. I hesitate to say story, but kind of somewhat of a narrative of this transformation. So it's going to be really interesting. And I'm going to approach it very differently than I've ever done in terms of shooting tethered so that everyone, it's just basically me and like 4 other people, but everyone there can see the photos as they unfold and make changes on the fly instead of normally I don't show people the back of my camera because I want them to trust me and I want them to be surprised and excited with like the anticipation of things. But for something where it's all focused on one person and it's clearly, a very well thought through vision in terms of what they're going for, I want it to be I want to have feedback essentially in real time. So that'll be cool. And then Thursday, I'm photographing an elopement at a wonderful, anybody that lives in this area, Daniel, yourself included, or you and I can go sometime, Glenstone. I don't know if it's a museum, but it is, if you just Google it, it's a giant
Glenstone museum.
It's a giant art museum, but it's basically, it's a huge plot of land with several buildings. And within these buildings are obviously wonderful works of art, but the buildings themselves are very interesting geometry and curves and all kinds of just fascinating shooting, like photographic opportunities. And they normally don't allow photography there at all, but they explained sort of my specific approach in terms of no stands, very minimal gear, basically one sling bag on my back and my camera in my hands. And that it was just going to be an elopement with 4 people. And they said, sure. And they were local residents to the area. I suppose they probably given money to some degree, but they got permission and it's going to be wonderful. So that's going to be really great, I think, because I've been there twice and every time I'm like, wow, this place was essentially built for my type of photography style. And now I actually get to shoot there. I'm sure we'll be restricted to certain areas, but very excited for that. So that's just a simple elopement. And then after that, I'm going straight to home, Lynchburg, Virginia. So I've got 2 shoots to wrap up the year with. That's it. And then home until middle of next week. So I'll be back here around New Year's. Anyway, that was a long story about my week, but how about you?
Just hanging out, just chilling. I'm just looking at the art at this place.
Oh, isn't it? The only thing that's like totally bizarre, it's cool to see, but it's hard to make cool looking in a photograph, is like the Barney head. They have, it's like this giant bush that's a dinosaur head. It looks kind of like Barney. And it's huge. It's like absolutely massive. It's private.
Yeah, Jeff Koons. We don't need Jeff Koons anymore. That's a whole thing that we've been talking about on the internet.
It is?
And it's Jeff Koons.
I knew nothing about this.
That's okay. You don't. I don't actually want to get into the
okay,
Jeff
let's
Koons.
not. But the building itself, the like interior one with all the lily pads,
amazing.
And the pond, yeah, it's crazy. So
Can I come to this elopement? Do you need a second shooter for?
I don't think so.
This is my medium format photographer. He's here to capture your day.
This is my Reels photographer, and they're capturing Instagram engagement content. That was a popular
to make your
post
love.
On the wedding photography subreddit. Was a hey, I just shot my first wedding, and there was a content creator there. So somebody hired specifically to make content on their phone to turn into Reels and stuff for social. It was quite the back and forth. Most people agreed that it's just like working with any other professional. You just have to communicate and deal with it because the client's priorities come first. And if the clients hired them, that's it. But still, they also had a videographer. So now you have 2 people kind of jockeying for the angles, which is, clients don't realize that's the fascinating thing about wedding days is it's usually the first time for most people. And you learn, like anything else, so much when you do something for the very first time. And a lot of that is stuff you would change the second go around. And when you realize, I've got 4, 2 videographers, a content creator, and a photographer at minimum, covering all these things. So I've got 4 people, probably all dressed in black, even if they're trying to be respectful and discreet and out of the way, that's still a lot of people be hovering around you all day. And I try and communicate that simply about videography when clients bring it up, or I ask them if they're going to have one. Just be really, really sure that the videography team you're hiring is as few physical bodies as possible, because it's just tough, and a lot of people don't like the camera on them to begin with. Anyway, yeah.
What's 3 more?
I don't need you as a content creator, but maybe I can ask them if it would be, low key. So I don't think they meant. It is far. It's just an hour at least.
Yeah, and then I'm just in the middle of nowhere, and then you're leaving.
Yeah, that's
going to Lynchburg,
right? Yeah,
and I'm not coming to your family's Christmas.
My mom would be very surprised by that. I think yes.
So would mine.
Yeah. Wait a second.
We're missing someone.
Yeah.
He's me. We're missing me. Okay, so our clickbait. Our clickbait. I've got 11 quick clickbaits here. So click bots. Clicky bot. You've answered one of these, which was to me. You answered me. Question number 4. Which famous photographer would you love to spend a day shooting with? And you said famous YouTube photographer.
Yes.
So is that still your answer?
No, it's not.
Okay, who's your answer?
Oh, I would think I would go with... Does it matter the genre? Any photographer?
No, any photographer.
I would think Nick Brandt, who's been one of my favorite photographers for a long time. He does essentially like fine art portraits of animals in the Masai Mara and other places throughout Africa. And he, until recently, mostly shot film. And I wouldn't really even care about he shoots essentially like free lensed or tilt shift large format or medium format film. So he gets insanely beautiful, dreamy depth of field, and it's very well, post-processed and everything. It just looks so good. And he sparked a huge amount of impersonators and all these other people that now do that kind of style of animals specifically. But what I would love to see is just the time that it actually takes and how close he's physically able to get, how he navigates getting that close to, lion. Now, when I was actually on safari for like 3 days, it was a very, very quick one. I was shocked how close our trucks could get, but and the animals like don't even care. But I'm curious. He was like not only very close, but very low to the ground and like right up next to these things. And I have to imagine he was staying in a car still, not getting out ever. But was it like a custom car? Could the doors fly open? Was it a remote rig that was on the exterior that somehow he could take? I'm very curious to see the actual process. And then if it's like a week-long thing or if it's like a month-long excursion and what the yield is for that. Because it's just such a constrained, unpredictable environment to be shooting in. You're at the mercy of where the animals decide to be.
Nick Grant?
Brandt.
There we go.
Yeah,
you've
probably even seen his work somewhere over the years. He started as just a commercial director, like for TV commercials, and then randomly, just started getting known for his early portrait work, and then it turned into, sadly, somewhat of a book series of sort of the emphasis changed from just showing the majestic animals to, oh my God, they're all getting poached and dying. This is awful, and trying to raise awareness of that.
Yeah.
And anyway. Pretty cool stuff though. Like it's just so cinematic, I guess.
He lives in Ojai, or I assume Ojai. His website says Southern California mountains.
Okay, yeah.
That's
so I think he, like I said, he was a commercial director for a while, and then probably 20 years ago became obviously like full-time photographer. And because he shoots on such large format film, like his gallery showings, the prints are just enormous and massive. Anyway, I've got all of his books. That would be fun.
Should we email him right now? Like you paid your parking ticket, but instead email to an inspiration and be like, "Hey guy, you want to hang?"
that maybe. I doubt he would pay any attention to me. He also does a lot with infrared, which is cool. And most of the work is monochromatic, which is also very interesting. Essentially the exact opposite of everything I do. But the work is like some of my favorite. So it's kind of interesting.
Who would my famous photographer be?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go real easy breezy. Henry Cartier-Bresson.
Oh, okay.
Easy breezy. And here's why. Let me tell you why. Because he sounded like a fun guy to just smoke a joint with and take photos. That sounds nice. He also he spent a couple of years in Mexico making very nice photos. So I would like to hang out with that version of him.
Did he?
Not the Paris version.
Oh, what was wrong with that?
Nothing. I want to be back in Mexico. So cool. This is my opportunity. If I'm hanging out with a dead photographer taking photos, I might as well be doing it while also in Mexico.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Some of these are going to be spoilers because not all of these have been published. So these
I'm
are
sure it's fine.
Yeah. Sorry to Tom.
I would love to see him in the dark room, like where he's going through the keepers, like crossing out. Yeah. And if I was able, ask why and what are you looking for when you have all of it laid out in front of you? What are the images that are kind of because I think the curation of the street photos is probably I would imagine the genre of street photography was where the culling process became as important or more so than the actual capture sometimes. Because some street photos you look at and you're like, okay, it's a bunch of people on the street. And then you look at it a little bit longer and you start to realize all the surprising layering. And it's a little bit more, I think that happens more often with street photography than a lot of other genres of photography, personally.
Yeah.
It's like, a great portrait photo. It's kind of, there it is. Beautiful light, beautiful skin tone, amazing eyes, whatever it is. But with street photography, you're like, oh, there's a bunch of people on the street. Wait a second. There's like a leg perfectly framed here. And then there's like this action happening in 3 different spots at once. What is happening?
Do you ever take street photos?
I have once. And I wrote a post about it. What? Why is that funny?
Well, that's just, once.
I was very, I'm very apprehensive. Probably comes from being in DC where the photo rules are so strict all the time everywhere. And I'm always like nervous to be photographing people in public. And the one time I did it was in a market in Hanoi. And I was there for a wedding, but I had a few days and it's such a chaotic, busy.
Yeah. And you had your little tilt shift.
Exactly. So I was doing 90-degree shooting with the tilt shift. So the focus and everything was a lot faster. And that's where I did street photos. Yeah, I can send you the link. It was really fun. I would love to do more of it, but I feel like I need an area that has that dense chaos to really feel like I'm going to get something out of it. I can't just look at a street scene and then imagine.
There's a beautiful chair or something, or like a crack in the wall. Just go find the shadow of the thing. It's not hard. Just look at this stuff. I don't know. I just listen. I'm thrilled that you've taken street photos once. I would love to. We should do that again. You should.
And I mean, when I had my camera growing up, I would take pictures of like benches and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. But that's not us taking photos to edit into black and white with a single thing in color to put on DeviantArt.
There we go. Yeah.
Whomst amongst us, right? All right.
I just found the post. I'm going to send it to you, the blog post, so you can check out my tilt shift street photos.
I love that.
But I am ready for your next question.
All right, next question. If you could only shoot with one lens for the rest of your life, which would it be and why?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's tricky. Maybe I'm just in a tilt shift mood now after bringing this up, but okay. Now, okay, wait.
One lens.
Yeah, but for work as well, or just
rest of your life? Are you going to be working for the rest of your life? Are you going to be working as a photographer?
I don't know. I would think
depends on which lens you choose, I guess.
Maybe the 45 tilt shift. That would be on the short list because tilt shift is there can be so much depth with it, both in what's in focus, like the layers of foreground, background focus, the bokeh that you can get out of it. The flexibility of 45 millimeter framing wise is pretty vast. So a 45 tilt shift would definitely be on my short list. Any brand, actually. They've all been pretty great, or at least the Nikon and Canon ones I've tried. After that, I'm tempted to say something 35 millimeter, which is a range I never shoot. But
I've never once shot it.
Oh no, I have. I just never. It never calls to me. Is
it even in your bag?
I sometimes bring it. That's kind of. I've got a 35-1.4, the old EF mount. So, and then a 35-1.8, which is the new RF mount for Canon. Yeah, I mean, I've had Super Pro 35s that I shoot, but it's kind of like, oh, I'm just passing the time. I want to relax. I'll just throw on a lens to like get through cocktail hour or something type thing. It's not like a real serious part of my toolkit. But if I had only that to shoot a wedding, if I had only one lens, I would choose that because it gives me the width of getting pretty decent room shots, good group sizes, pretty much any size, unless it's a massive group of people that we can't layer at all. Any group size will be fine. And then, but you can still get in there and get like intimate portraits pretty easily with minimal distortion.
Yeah, 35 is amazing.
Yeah, 50 would be tough to do a lot of really specific shots that are needed. Yeah. How about you?
I guess a weird. I mean, I don't know. Very confused by the question in general. I mean, like, legitimately a 24-70. Oh no, that new Canon thing. I would do the 24-105 2.8. There we go. Now I'm living.
The what? 24-105?
Yeah, it's a new.
Yeah,
it's their new 2.8 lens. They just slapped on another.
Isn't
35.
it a 28-25?
Is it?
I
hope not, because I guess I don't actually hate 28. 28 is great.
Wow, 24-105 would be amazing.
It's
F4.
24-105 is the F4. That's not the one I want.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one I want? No, there's no way. I wouldn't have gotten excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, no, it does exist. The RF 24-105 2.8 L IS USM Z, $3,000.
Nice. Oh, that thing's got to be gigantic.
It is not small.
Oh my gosh, what a great! Oh, this totally was not on my radar.
Oh yeah, it just came out like 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe.
Wow, that's. I mean.
It came out the week after we published the Nikon versus Canon episode where we were like, they're all the same. One just innovates something. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Just buy your cameras. And then Canon released this beautiful lens and was like, hi.
Yeah. I mean, basically anybody who shoots a 24-70 should buy this and only shoot with this now. Yeah. Or almost anybody that has a 70-200. I mean, you crop in camera and that's giving you like a 150 millimeter reach.
Yeah.
I mean, you're losing a lot of resolution, but holy crap, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Very, very impressed. That's tempting to buy, but I don't know that I want a lens that big in my bag.
Well, you're also switching to Nikon. So
we'll see. 8 stops of IBIS. Cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of IBIS stops. So that camera, I guess now I'd have to be a Canon guy. So I guess that would be, I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't know. I'm in a weird gear headspace. So I stand by 24-70 because I'm a coward. I understand that it's a cowardly answer.
You mean the 24-105?
Yeah, sorry. 24-105.
That just sounds weird to say. 24-105.
Yeah, we're going to get there. But right now it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, no.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh, these sample images are just, I never understand. A lot of how I come to the conclusion that camera manufacturers just don't have actual photographers early enough in the development phase to like inform some really what otherwise would be useful features that don't exist is that the sample photos they post along with the lenses are just really usually not good. Like,
wait, hang on. There is on Canon's website for the RF24105 2.8, their new flagship $3,000 lens, there is a setup shot of two men playing basketball at sunset outside with off-camera flash.
Yeah, the one from underneath, like really, really low.
That's like the flash is like in their shorts.
It's awful.
This is not a good photo.
No, it's bad.
Like a technically bad photo. Anyway, that's how they're selling it. That is image number 4 on the website.
I mean, you can look at the like solo bride shot. Those are also quite weak. I think some of the like sample images in the grid are fine until you click through to like look at the uncropped version, and there's some bad stuff in there. Yeah.
Okay, so they used another shot. If you keep scrolling, they used another shot from the basketball shoot that is literally just up their shorts.
Yeah, I see.
And at least but even that, they're using this for next to their optical image stabilization, but they're shooting with flash. So why would you use a flash photo there?
Here's my guess.
Should be low light.
My guess. They want images that feel attainable to people that aren't professionals. And professionals, this is pure guessing here. That's the only way it makes sense, though. Professionals that know their style and what they're doing can look at the stats, see a 24/105 2.8. They know what that means and what they can get out of it. Somebody who's just a hobbyist that like really has a bunch of flashes and random, they just buy equipment because they can afford it and it's a hobby. Maybe they don't want to have photos that look so unattainable and perfect that it disconnects them from the ability to do it. I don't know. That's the only thing I could possibly guess as to why they purposely choose such awful photos. Not all of them are awful, but many of them are.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
But alas, that's very wrong. You're being way too generous.
Okay, thanks.
That is
a Nikon site to see what they've got for the ZF sample photos.
Yes.
Okay, next question.
That's an important.
We're not going to get through 20, so not this.
Yeah, no, we're gonna get through our 11 though. What's the weirdest object you've used to get the perfect shot? You answered this. I don't remember what you answered, but I think I remember seeing a comment.
Where would I have answered that?
On Instagram.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Listen, I get it. You're not actively clocking the engagement you're doing. You're just associating and engaging on the gram for a bit.
Yeah, I'd have to say a trash can of some kind, like a lid of a trash can was probably one of the most unlikely but useful things that I've shot through. Or like a street sign where you're basically just using it to wedge shape and direction using an interesting color or something like that. That's probably...
Wow, you really did. Someone tagged you and said they wanted to see your answer, and you responded, a trash can lid, question mark?
There we go. Yeah.
There you go. My weirdest... See, I don't know. I use literal trash all the time, right? Like I like while I'm walking around, if I find a piece of reflective trash, I pick it up and I take it home. I have candy wrappers here that I've been using to throw a little lens flare. Right. Like this is just candy wrapper from my vet from like a year ago. I got these in Mexico. Nice. They traveled with me. I have like my favorite prop at the moment is a broken side mirror that I found on the ground that had like been run over and is missing pieces of glass. So like that, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't feel weird to me. That's just normal. The weirdest thing that I've used for a photo, probably a backdrop. A backdrop in like a studio setup. That's weird for me. See? It's all relative.
Yeah, it is. It is relative. That's a really good point. That's true.
If your photography style was a movie genre, what would it be?
Oh, a dramedy?
A dramedy. That's actually, that's pretty good. Let's take this further. If your photography style was a movie, which movie
specifically?
Yeah.
Jeez, I have no idea. That's tough. That's tough.
Because I only changed it to that because I have two different answers.
Okay, do it. You do.
Okay, so there's like literally a movie that I saw as I was just starting out professionally that like really impacted me. It's pretty good if it's a type of movie that you're into. Collateral. It's a Michael Mann movie starring Tom Cruise as an assassin who gets in Jamie Foxx's cab and hires him for the night, and then he finds out that he's taking him to murders to commit.
Okay.
But it's shot at night. It was right after the 5D came out. So there's like video on DSLRs now. Hooray,
Oh, okay.
What a treat.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they, used for that was like really dreamy bokeh at night. Hooray. Look at this video that we can now shoot with DSLRs. What a treat. And there was like this, I remember it was by Vincent Lefort, I believe. He shot like a test video with Canon, and it ends like in this really beautiful but also kind of corny helicopter ride around New York City in the middle of the night. So I was like the little test video, and I remember being like really inspired by this test video for the 5D video and being like, whoa, this is so amazing, but also and then Collateral, I saw this movie and I was like, this is how I felt, but it's better, right? Like it reminded me of the exact same thing, but it was like so much better that I kind of fell in love with it. And it's that early aughts jerky Zoom type of movie thing that's a little, it's not as bad as like, other action movies. It's a lot more purposeful in its movements, but how he frames things and how he worked with his cinematographer on that, like literally just became my style for a few years there, where I was like, I want to shoot like, I want my stills to look like stills from this movie. Great. And so they did. And that was great.
That's wonderful. I would say is the only director that jumps out to me that I've ever thought, like after watching their film, oh, I really want to like take this style and influence and implement it, was Wes Anderson, only because of this intense symmetry and center weighted focus. That's certainly something I've always trended toward. So, but there's no real specific movie I could say that I all aligns, because I don't only do that kind of stuff. It's heavy influence, but there's more to it than that.
Eternal Sunshine is the answer.
Oh,
Spike Jonze.
That's a wonderful movie in general. Yes. Okay, next question. Cheers. We gotta accelerate. We're already at 47 minutes.
Oh my God. Same question, but as a song.
That's tough. I'm going to go with something by Miu. Introducing Palace Prayers, I think is the full name of the song.
Okay. I'm going Sufjan Stevens. Just give me sad, beautiful, gay things that are all about being broken. That's basically all I take photos of, is broken things anyway. So like, oh, wow, hey, look at that. All I do is take photos of broken things.
Yeah.
See, this is why you should talk about your work, everybody. If you could, this is coming out this week. This is this week's clickbait engagement. If you could time travel to any era. There we go. Era.
Of an area?
Area of an era time. Purely for a photo shoot, when and where would you go? And like, let's assume that you'll be safe. You're going to make it back.
Sure. I would want to go, I think, to a time period where just the physical appearance of my camera wouldn't draw attention still, at least not immediately. So I would still think sometime in the 1900s, way before cell phone, and probably before digital cameras. So the camera itself wouldn't look, like I said, completely alien and freak people out. Although that would be fun to go back, break out a camera and literally like keep it hidden under a blanket and or like a cloth or something, and then have somebody in front of you, then pull it out, and then the photo is their reaction to seeing a camera for their first time. That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Do that to Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd like to do. So that's okay. So basically any time that I could surprise people with the look of the camera and photograph that surprise. Yeah. So it wouldn't really matter when, like you said, as long as I'm not like murdered and I can make it back, because they think I'm some sort of spirit stealer. Okay, you?
When Tom asked this, when he and I were talking about this while we were making the post today, I said JFK's assassination, which is like,
Are you just aching for the truth? Or
no,
is it because it's so controversial?
No, I was really obsessed with that Stephen King book, 11/22/63.
I don't know it.
Oh my God, it's a great. It's one of like his best.
Okay, I do love Stephen King.
It's about a teacher who goes back in time to 1958 and tries to stop the JFK assassination.
Cool.
To ripple out changes or whatever.
Did they make a movie of that? Sounds like they should.
They made a bad Hulu show starring James Franco. The worst Franco. You heard it here first. This is a pro Dave Franco. If we're picking a Franco brother, it's Dave.
I'm with you on that.
3 cheers for Dave. He's married to Allison Brie. And they keep making weird movies together. Anyway. But no, I think I'm going to go with Woodstock. I would, photographing Woodstock would be sick.
Piece of trivia. Woodstock held on herd property.
What?
Yeah. There's a herd, someone I'm related to somehow, and the herd name owned the farmland that Woodstock was on in upstate New York or wherever it was. Yeah.
So I've got an in this time travel.
Yes. Hello. You're set.
You're great thrice removed.
It's literally Herd Road was like where the hordes of people were walking in the area to get to it or something like that. Yeah. Herd Road.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. If you could photograph any fictional character, who would it be and why?
Jesus? No, I'm just kidding.
Already answered that one. It's the surprise.
Fictional character. That opens up so much. Who would it be? My mind immediately went to Fantastic Mr. Fox because because I shot with a Nikon D3S at the time, and I watched the behind the scenes of that movie. It's stop animation, and they used a Nikon D3, like a bunch of them, like 20 bodies to do the entire film. And I thought it was so cool because I love the colors, the tone, and I was like, I've got this exact same tool right here in my hands that they made.
Why can't I make this?
Yeah, why can't I make Fantastic Mr. Fox? So making a portrait of the character would be pretty fun, I think, just to see if I could match the movie.
That's a really good answer.
Okay. Thank you.
It has also inspired my answer. I would like to photograph Remy from Ratatouille. I love that movie so much. It's like top 5.
And Remy's going to give you something to work with,
right?
Goods,
like,
yes, yeah.
So I mean, like, I assume this is going to be a whole profile of the whole kitchen, right? So like, this is a lifestyle shoot that we're just going into the rat's kitchen to talk about food. Like the way that he describes eating cheese and strawberry to his brother, and they do the little thing, is one of the few times I've felt like I've been fully seen on television, because like that's how I experience food when I'm like eating and tasting things for cooking. It's like I'm thinking about it. We'll like close my eyes and like have a little moment, and then it happened on screen, and I'm pretty sure I cried the first time I saw it, just because I was like, whoa, like just a surprise. I'm being understood by a major multinational corporation that's making a movie. Like, what a treat. So yeah, Remy.
I wonder the ripple effects of that scene and that characterization or illustration of how food works. Yeah, the influence of that and people pursuing that as a career, I bet is notable. If anyone could,
in the same way that children started flushing their pet fish after finding Nemo.
Oh, that's so messed up.
Yeah,
holy crap.
Yeah, there were like articles about how they had to like tell them not to. Because
that's just good
children
parenting.
Were
like, they should. That's crazy.
Well, they saw the movie and they're like, "Oh, Nemo gets to go home if I flush him.
Wow,
not gets to die a terrible death in the sewer." In your poop, kid.
All those goldfish.
R.I.P. What photography myth do you wish would disappear forever?
Oh, wow.
I've got one.
Okay, you first.
I would like the myth that gear doesn't matter to go away.
Oh, sure. That's a good one.
Yep. I want that nuance, because everyone always like compresses it down to gear doesn't matter. It's like, no, gear really fucking matters. It matters a whole lot.
There's something in the idea of it that is just so compelling that I hate. There's so many things like that humans latch onto, and that people lift up and know, that people that should know better, by the way, like use as a way to fuel the like positive vibes. And it's like, no, but this is wrong. You're wrong about this. This gear does matter. There's so many examples of that. And I don't know why I can't think of one now when the question is presented to me, but that's a really great answer. It does.
It feels like like literally you just sit on the wedding photography subreddit and answer questions like this exact question. We have an entire back catalog of episodes where like you're literally just like, this is the myth I want to die today, and then you just like yell about it for like an hour, and now you have a moment to make one disappear forever, and you got nothing.
I don't. Do you have one for me? And I can tell you yes
Film
or no?
is better.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about film and gear and all the like equipment related things is that it can be fine, but you're just stuck into a constraint. And sometimes the constraint can inform and make what you're doing better. It depends. Like if you're a professional, I think you need latitude to ebb and flow with the things that you have no control over. And a lot of times when you're hired to do something, you have to do that because you're not the only person involved with the thing. And it can get you into really tight, awful, troublesome situations where even people that are intimately familiar with your work, as like a film photographer, hire you and they know what to expect ish, but their entire wedding is in a dark, cavernous hall with candlelight only because the weather changed. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to get much out of film there. Like you're totally in trouble. And to shoot the entire reception, maybe you can get some cool blurry photos here and there, but this is a problem. You need the right equipment, or at least to know how to manipulate things in a way that you're going to get something. Okay, so I don't know. I can't think of a myth that film. That's a good one. Yeah, that's one I would certainly answer. I was thinking something about sensor size, but I think there is a lot to the size of a sensor and the look that comes out because the sensor size informs a lot of the lens design and things like this.
A lot of the pixels. Did I tell you that I purchased a disposable camera lens?
No.
Okay, so people are taking the like Sure Shot or Kodak, whatever, and popping out the plastic shitty
cool
lens from the disposable camera, and then 3D printing a thing that then you can mount the thing into and mount it to your Leica or your Sony or whatever. So I got one that's an M mount because I have the M mount adapter for the GFX. So I'm gonna put a piece of plastic on the medium format 102 megapixel thing and see what happens.
Awesome.
I don't know if I'm going to get coverage, but it's coming from Switzerland, so this is going to be a YouTube video in like February because it's stuck in customs or something. But one day,
gotcha.
It's coming.
That's fascinating. I guess what I would probably say something along the lines of the. I think a lot of people fixate. I don't know if the myth exists in like a phrase. But something related to the difference between shooting portrait and landscape orientation. I think a lot of people shoot portrait orientation because it instantly does add a layer of decision-making and creative feeling decision-making because it's not how we see the world every day, right? We see the world landscape orientation with our own eyes. And so seeing something in portrait mode, like, ooh, wow, that's a decision that you made. Why? That's cool. And it makes sense now that phones are so common that things are going to be captured in portrait orientation, but just the original idea to use it is cool. But I think if you don't know which direction to go, you're way better off shooting landscape orientation and then cropping it if you need into a portrait perspective. Depends on what your framing is like, but it's so much easier 9 times out of 10 to convert from landscape into a portrait than portrait into a landscape, because you almost never have the width to like give enough breathing room when you've shot something originally in vertical portrait orientation. So I think that people should actually trend more landscape personally, but
wow, you're really hitting me here, because I'm a portrait guy.
Yeah.
Portrait buddy.
Now with generative fill, maybe it's not as big an issue. You can just generate the sides.
And that's endless appreciations for the year, everybody. See ya.
Maybe that could be your thing. I'd be surprised if it's not already some photographer's thing, but all your work is portrait orientation. But the secret is you always start from landscape and crop it into portrait.
That's not
like,
my secret.
You shoot everything in portraits. Like, yeah, I do. Wink, wink.
I have like once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, I have someone email me or comment on my photos like, oh man, I really love this. I would love a little bit more focus.
Like of a subject.
Your depth of field is a little shallow here for me. I would love to be able to see more. And it's like, yeah, the point of this is that it's not. They're like, but I can't see the stuff. It's like, yep, that's the point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all good. Hey, as long as you have an answer and it's not there's something off here. I also can't put my finger on it. It's when you have a definitive, like, yeah, that's the point. Move on. I've heard this before. I've considered it, weighed it in my head. Is there something wrong here? And if there's not, boom, you just move on. That's okay. Oh, I would like to say another myth that is actually more of a myth is that presets are going to make your photos look like someone else's. So I think that's...
hang on. Let me send you like 10 photos and you can apply your presets to them, and then I'll upload them and people can see if it's a Daniel photo or a Sam photo.
Sure. The thing is, so much of what goes into the look and color and feel of a photo is in editing. That's so true. But it really has to, the way you edit has to be developed and augment your choice of light and style while shooting, and they have to go together. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take someone's preset and editing style and apply it to your own somehow. It might still work, or with a few tweaks, like you'll learn what aspects you want to pull from that preset that really works with the way that you shoot. But yeah, just buying the preset and then plastering it on somebody who's lit in just a completely different environment, or with totally different aperture settings, especially, if you're shooting a lot with a lot less depth of field, like all of these things really, really add up to make a very different look. That a preset's, it could chip away at getting there, but it's never going to just be a one-click boom situation, as much as Visco would have you believe from there.
Anyway, please buy Sam Hurd Photography presets. They're available at aftershoot.com/Sam Hurd Photography.
Aftershoot? What?
I don't know. Where are your presets?
My presets are develop.
Sorry.
Just go to my website.
I just don't know.
Personal goal, now that Insight's out, after I actually for real promote it, I need to get my website going. So I'm gonna...
Great.
I can tell you're excited. Like, this website's never going to launch.
No, I would love to get in there and
we need to. I would like to talk about website stuff again next time.
Okay.
Into the new year, because I still get comments every client meeting. Yeah, we really liked your website. And I'm like,
your current one?
Man, that thing's like 10 years old. Yeah.
Where the type is like 6 pixels high.
Yeah. Well, we're getting older, but all my clients relatively are staying the same age. They can still read that. So maybe it's like a weird signal that like I'm still with it and cool.
Yeah.
And I don't need everything in bold, giant type.
I don't wear glasses. I'm young. Yeah. Joke's on them. Contacts, guys. There's corrective lenses in his eyes. He's lying to you via font size. Did you want glasses growing up, or did they just?
Yeah, my cousins had them, and I was like, I really wanted them. I remember like purposely trying to get certain questions wrong during my eye exam, but they would be like the wrong kinds of questions. It would be something related to seeing like a number in a color. And
Yeah.
I'd be like, I can't see it. It looks like a 6. and it was
And they're like,
this
oh,
isn't-
you're colorblind.
colorblind. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I wanted glasses too. I distinctly remember in second grade wanting glasses and then being like, I can get glasses. And so I went outside at recess and I stared at the fucking sun.
Wow.
I remember opening the door, like the side door of the school to recess, stepping outside and just open up my eyes as big as I could to stare at the sun.
No.
And then like 5 seconds later, it was like, well, that didn't, ow, nope.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
You're going to need a walking stick now.
Yeah. So that,
Jeez.
that's what second graders are thinking.
I'm surprised I haven't recently in the past few years seen some like random article about something going viral, some challenge on the internet of like who can stare at the sun the longest. As a stupid.
I mean, there was that
viral internet
time
challenge.
that our ex-president stared at the sun
Yeah.
during the solar eclipse.
That's true.
Like when that
Wow,
photo came
forgot
out, I
about
was
that.
like, I did that when I was in second grade. Hey, look at that.
I don't know how I forgot that.
What are you
I was
doing
in
for
San
the
Diego.
solar eclipse, Sam?
I have know nothing about the next one. When is it?
Solar eclipse is April 9th. April 9th, April 8th, April 8 or 9, 2024. The closest spot that we could view it
April
in
8th.
totality is like
Toronto or
Rochester,
something?
Buffalo.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'm going to Austin because that's where my best friend is, and gotta
Looks
go
like
visit
Dallas
my
is the
godchildren.
real. You could pop down to Dallas pretty easily.
Well, yeah, but
From Austin.
Austin has free room and board, and we're gonna host a glass meetup right
That's
after.
Cool. I don't know. I hadn't thought of this. So I'll have to look where I'm at. April 8th.
Come to Austin. We can have a little glass meetup.
Yeah, I don't have anything, so that's nice. April 8th. Okay, yeah. We'll see.
Hop on to.
I'll be in Peru the week before that.
Well,
Peru.
don't get stuck. I guess you'll miss the eclipse. Have you Have you seen a full eclipse?
I was in San Diego during the last one, and I remember I don't think I had the tools to look at the thing.
Yeah.
so-
Okay. So
but I remember the light changing, and it
this
was
is
like
my
really,
this is my ending the year. This is my little spiel. To quote the man, so we went to the last eclipse in whatever year that was. What year was that? 2018.
2018. That sounds right.
Yeah, because it was before we moved to Amsterdam. We moved to Amsterdam in 2019. So 2018, summer of 2018, we drove like 9 hours from Whitefish, Montana, down to Rexburg, Idaho, because that was the closest spot that had totality from Whitefish. And we like pulled up. We rented a plot in a guy's field. He just like set up his field and subdivided it into like 50 camping sites and put it on Hip Camp and was like, come see the eclipse. You don't have to leave. 2-night minimum, $100. Camp in my field. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. I'll camp in your field, man. So we camped in his field
Nice.
with my best friend came up from Austin with his girlfriend at the time, and then my partner and I, and we all drove down. Absolutely the best thing I've ever done in my life. Like, legitimately a top 3 experience of my life. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it right now.
Wow.
It was like the coolest, most lizard brain evolutionary. I can't process what I'm seeing, even though I know what's happening and it's coming. It just like broke me, and I'm a full-on eclipse chaser now. The guy next to us is a retired eclipse chaser. He and his wife have seen every eclipse for the last 24 years, 25 years, or whatever it was. So I guess it's now closer to 30. They like saw one in the 80s and were just like, well, that's the coolest thing we've ever seen. That's all we do now. And so anytime there's eclipse that's over land, they fly to the closest city and get there.
Wow.
And he was like, there's a difference. There's a big difference between 99% and 100% totality. Cause like when you see the little fun, like you're, see the shadows or the light changing and it being like crescent moons instead of circles and that being really cool. That is the dumbest, boringest thing in the world compared.
Okay.
So a full solar eclipse, if you're in the path of totality, it is suddenly like dusk, sunset all around you, 365 or 360 degree view around you. And you can see stars in the middle of the day. So you're just
that would be crazy. Yeah.
All around you. And then, there's the fire, like white happening around the moon. And it gets colder for like progressively as it gets closer. So you lose like degrees, and in the last like 15 minutes before it hits, you're losing like 5 to 10 degrees quickly. And so your body's like, what is happening? And then you literally see a shadow coming across the horizon towards you. And then you feel tiny and insignificant and like nothing matters. And
suddenly realize why every religion was ever invented.
Yeah, absolutely.
What the heck they were looking at.
Yeah. Wow. And then like it was 2.5 minutes. It was 2 minutes and 19 seconds where we were, and like just I like collapsed into a like weird little puddle and just kept saying holy shit. Anyway, so April 8th, 2024. Start making plans now.
Yeah. When I get up to I'd probably go north.
Yeah, like legitimately, if you're not coming to Texas, so the reason that you'd want to do Texas or like Mazatlan, Mexico, or something like that, is that you have a better chance of a sunny day, so no clouds in the sky, which means you get the full experience versus not. Yeah, so that's why we're going to Texas. But like Adam, so my best friend Adam, his house is in the path of totality, but it's at the edge, so his house will get like 90 seconds of eclipse, but we're going to drive for like 90 minutes to the actual center, so we get an extra like 2.5 minutes.
I will let's follow up. I'm gonna put this as a possible Texas trip because my best friend lives in San Antonio, and I always like to have a reason to go visit.
Do you know what we could do?
Anybody in Rochester?
We could host a workshop, and suddenly this workshop is now paying for us to see the
That's
eclipse.
The dream. I could do that. All right, let's wrap this up because I have some more I want to talk about with that, but it's not worth podcasting. So we'll get back to our 20 questions next.
That was it. We were done. We were done. The next two, I'm like, we don't want our answers for that. So that's it. That's endless appreciations for the year, everybody. I'm pretty sure last week's episode isn't even out yet. So it's coming today. All right. So then this one's coming next week. So this is like a Christmas. Is this dropping on Christmas?
Oh, let's do that. No, nobody will ever. Well,
oh my God.
I would like to get it out beforehand because a lot of people are going to be traveling. So if we could get back-to-back episodes out for the travel.
Yeah, Monday and we'll on a normal sure. Whatever. I mean, you're the editor. I'm just here.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Great year.
1, 2, 3.